Hey guys, welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. Today we've got another top 5 for you. We're doing top 5 coral barks this week at MrMaple.com.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and sign up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. It's winter, and these plants are really giving some excellent winter interest right now.
Guys, we love talking about Japanese maple content. We do it every single day here on the Mr. Maple YouTube channel. You can reward us with a subscribe, a like, and a share. That goes a long way toward getting our stuff out there. We love talking about it. So today we're going to bring you the top 5 coral barks today at Mr. Maple.
Get involved in the live chat. Everybody is in the live chat. If you're watching this video live when we're airing it, make sure you get involved. Get in there. There's a great community of people who love Japanese maples. Get involved. Number 5.
First up on the table, we've got Sangu Kaku.
The original OG coral bark. We're talking about Sangu Kaku. Translates as coral towers. This is a great coral bark. That's where the whole grouping is sort of named after, is Sangu Kaku, which translates as coral towers.
Now, as you can tell, these trees really light up the winter landscape. I'm actually here in January. We've got a hot day. I broke out the shorts, so it makes no sense. We're gonna be 20 by the end of the week though. So we want to get out here and talk to you about some of our favorite coral barks. You've seen Sangu Kaku, but it's lighting up the show this week at Mr. Maple. We have some excellent sizes in Sangu Kaku right now. This one leaves out a lush green, going to a golden yellow in the fall with splashes of red in it. It's a classic Japanese maple for a reason. We just did a podcast on some of our top sales items in 2022. You're definitely going to want to check that out. Sangu Kaku made the list. You'll have to watch the podcast to see where it fell there, the top 25 items, but it's definitely one of those items that is always popular when we have it in stock.
And one of the most underrated for fall color plants. Everyone talks about the winter interest, which it is fantastic at doing, but it really gives some really nice, bold yellows, sometimes infused with some orange to red highlights. I mean, an amazing plant for fall color, possibly one of the best yellow fall color Japanese maples of any of the uprights. Number 4.
So next up here on the table, we've got Acer palmatum, Bihu. Now Bihu brings that intense golden yellow. It's one of the most consistent yellow bark Japanese maples, and it's highly sought after because it pairs so well with all of the other coral barks.
Yeah, the yellow bark, it just looks like a highlighter. And when this tree in the spring has some really nice green color, in the fall, it's a bright, bright yellow. When you have the yellow on yellow, it's a yellow overload. I mean, it's amazing out there. It looks like you just took a Japanese maple and you took a yellow highlighter and just colored it all in. It's an amazing plant. And then drops its leaves to really show off that yellow bark.
In the winter months, that's when this one really shines. I'm hoping to get out to Elton. I was talking to Plant Man. Many of you may know him as Plant Man. We're hoping to do a full video on his breakdown of his pruning techniques with his Acer palmatum Bihu. He actually got it from us. There's a gorgeous specimen. It's actually there in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Elton prunes it every year, maintains excellent characteristics to it. And we hope to give you a full demonstration on that this year. But Bihu, highly sought after, making our top 5 coral bark maples of the week.
Yeah, an amazing plant. It was brought over from Japan in 2008 by Brian Upchurch. We bought his nursery in 2013, which was Highland Creek Nursery. And Bihu, it's one of those plants that we've been growing since then. It definitely, there's not a lot else like it that gives that bright highlighter yellow bark color. Very unique.
Number 3. Next up on the table, we've got Acer palmatum, Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, oddly enough, was found in Warren, Texas. That's just a little bit north of Houston, Texas, about 30 minutes from Houston. And it's an extremely heat tolerant coral bark Japanese maple.
Yeah, we love this one. It definitely takes that heat there in Texas. It's a very fun plant. Baton Rouge, being French for red stick or red twig, really aptly describes this bright red characteristic. Now this one's not only heat tolerant, but it goes through some unique color patterns in the fall for a coral bark type. It's not uncommon to have a lot of red in this one in the fall to oranges. Makes it very unique. Lovely heat tolerant plant, great for that southwest exposure, in some high heat, zone 8B even environments. This one's gonna outperform a lot of other Japanese maples and be exceptionally heat tolerant.
For some reason, this tree is extremely popular in Louisiana. Probably one of our top sellers in Louisiana. An amazing plant, a Baton Rouge. It's just as the name describes, it makes you realize that this plant's gonna do very well in the deep south in those super high heat settings. But the fall color on this can really get a lot more reds in it than your typical Sangu Kaku, which gives you a coral bark that gives you a little bit of yellow at first, but really gets to those reds much quicker. And so you get a coral bark that gives you red bark, but also some good red fall color.
2.
Winter orange.
So we went from one of our trees from one of our hottest zones to one of our coral barks here in our top 5 today from one of our coldest zones. Now, the Baton Rouge was from Texas. The winter orange actually hails from a very cold area in Canada. Now, all of our maples here today work zone 6 through 9. This one may be able to push it a little bit colder. We rate it zone 6 to be careful, but it is from a colder zone in Canada. Now, winter orange is the perfect name for this one. It very aptly describes that bright orange to apricot kind of orange bark you get on this one. It makes a perfect pairing with Bihu and so many of the other coral barks.
Yeah, this one here, it's really truly a bright orange. I mean, we have so many different varieties of coral bark types that get yellows infused with orange. This one is typically a nice bold orange on the bark itself. This plant is spectacular. I mean, it's one of my favorite of those coral bark types. And again, coral being the Sangu Kaku, we really should be saying orange bark, yellow bark, but that grouping of the coral barks are spectacular. Winter orange gives you a nice yellow fall color in the fall. And this plant has the typical green leaf that you typically get with most of the coral bark varieties. Now, with any of these coral bark varieties, make sure to give them some sunlight. Coral barks, the bark interest is peaked up with a little bit of sunlight. If you put this in deep shade, the bark isn't going to be as intense as it is when you plant it giving it some sunlight. A lot of our plants are coming from 55% shade cloth here at our nursery. This 55% white poly. And so they're not going to be quite as intense for you when you first get them, but just wait till that winter.
Yeah, the winter interest on these trees gets even more intense each year. As you get these out there, the sap actually gets lower in the tree, and that winter months, the color actually intensifies. Giving them a little bit of sun's gonna pick that up, but that coolness of the winter really does something special to these. You'll notice your trees just start to glow. They actually can be at their least eventful color right there in early spring as they're leafing out. You can still get great color on them, but it's less intense than that winter interest. These trees are gonna provide that spark of color and that drab winter garden that really gets people interested and really shows out what Japanese maples can do in the winter. Number 1.
So next up, we've got Sir Damon.
Yeah, now this is a fun one by our friend Crispin Silva. Sir Damon is actually named after his son. Now this one has a lot of pink in it with the red, so it gives it a really intense bark interest. It's one of the brightest barks. Because of that pink coloration mixed with the red, it really brightens up an area.
Yeah, where the Sangu Kaku gives you a coral bark, this one is a pink red bark. I mean, it truly is a different bark shade on the color. And this is a plant that gives you everything you love about Sangu Kaku, but with a little bit brighter bark.
Yeah.
I mean, an amazing plant.
Excellent pairing with Bihu or that winter orange. Those are gonna show out and look extremely different and really give you a ton of color interest. Now, these are trees, like I said, the winter months are really where these start to shine. You can really get these out, make some amazing winter garden comparisons. You can contrast the barks with these. You can contrast them with your conifer collection, or you can just have that spark of color there in the winter garden.
Now, people always talk about the trifecta in fall color. Which of these 3 plants would you plant for the best trifecta of winter bark interest? I mean, there's some great things to choose here, from orange to yellow to pink red to a red that gives you red fall color to your classic Sangu Kaku.
Now, I've heard people sometimes compare coral bark Japanese maples with this whole family to red twig dogwoods, but you're missing out on all the other seasons. Red twig dogwoods look great in the winter, but you're getting the spring color of a Japanese maple, the amazing structure of a Japanese maple, and those awesome fall colors that, you know, dogwoods just don't have that.
Yeah, that's for sure. The Japanese maples, especially the Japanese maples with this winter interest, are so unique, so different. They bring to life the winter garden. They get you out there and excited when winter's here. One of my favorite times to go out and see these plants is in the winter, especially after a light snow or a heavy snow. I mean, you can go out there and really enjoy these plants and see the white, the ice on the branches, see snow on the ground. It gives the plants this vibrant, lively feel, having this colorful bark.
Guys, thanks so much for watching today's top 5 coral bark Japanese maples this week at MrMaple.com. These are just 5. You can find them right now on Mr. Maple, but we're always updating. If when you're watching this video, these are out of stock, you can sign up to get notified via email as soon as they're back. as always, be checking our 10 at 10s. Those come out every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and there's always new plants being listed on our website.
We thank y'all so much for watching. We thank y'all so much for getting involved in the live chat. Make sure you take a minute and like this video and comment on it. That helps so many more people see our videos. We really appreciate it. Make sure you sign up for our weekly emails. Take care.
God bless.
And have an awesome day.